Friday night was homecoming at Brashear and also senior night. Members of this year's senior class included Allie Garrett, Abby Hall, Rachel Heimer, Chance Hill, Hannah Mason, Jacob Reeves, Becca Story, Gabe Thomas, Allison Thompson, Rhiannon Turner, Kimmy Walshek, and Shelby Watson. After the ball games, the new king and queen and prince and princess were crowned. Candidates from 7th grade were Justin Leadham and Tana Garlock. From 8th grade was Wyatt Potter and Kirsten Hart. 9th grade was Harley Hayes and Harley Mihalovich. From 10th grade was Tyler Watson and Kately Hall. From 11th grade was Patrick Jacobson and Sydney Sykes. From 12th grade was Gabe Thomas and Becca Story. Last year's king and queen, Chance Hill and Abby Hall, crowned this year's king and queen, Gabe Thomas and Becca Story. And the winner of this year's prince and princess was Wyatt Potter and Kirsten Hart. The Brashear Lady Tigers and the Novinger Lady Wildcats got off to a slow start Thursday as neither team scored for several minutes. Brashear held a slim 6-5 lead after the first quarter and a 10-9 lead at halftime. Although Brashear extended their lead to 25-21 after 3 quarters, Novinger rallied in the fourth quarter for a 39-31 win. Mandy Taylor scored 15 points for Brashear, Abby Kirby had 10, and Sydney Sykes, Allison Thompson, and Abby Hall scored 2 points each. There was nothing slow about Novinger's scoring in the boys' game as they opened the game with a 27-0 run. Brashear actually outscored Novinger 19-18 in the second quarter, but the Wildcats still had a 49-28 lead at halftime. Brashear was never able to challenge Novinger's lead in the second half, and the final score was 82-43. Cole Acton scored 12 points for Brashear. Chance Hill and Jacob Reeves had 9 each. Gabe Thomas had 7, and Ty Gottman and Patrick Jacobson scored 3 points each. Brashear hosted Grundy County Friday for homecoming. The Grundy County girls took a 15-10 lead after 1 quarter, and Brashear was never able to close the gap as Grundy County led 24-16 at halftime and went on to win 50-40. Abby Kirby scored 16 points for Brashear. Mandy Taylor had 9. Hannah Reeves had 5. Kately Hall had 4, and Abby Hall and Sadie Potter scored 3 points each. The boys' game was a thriller with Brashear holding an 11-10 lead after 1 quarter and a 20-15 lead at halftime. Grundy County came out strong in the second half and eventually took a 5-point lead over Brashear before the Tigers rallied for a 47-37 homecoming win. Cole Acton scored 15 points for Brashear. Jacob Reeves had 13, Chance Hill had 10, Patrick Jacobson had 6, and Ty Gottman scored 3 points. The Brashear boys faced Scotland County in the first round of the Brashear tournament. Brashear's Patrick Jacobson had the hot hand early as Brashear took a 17-14 lead after 1 quarter. Brashear couldn't hold on to that lead as Scotland County took a 40-25 lead into halftime and went on to win by a score of 78-38. Patrick Jacobson scored 15 points for Brashear, Chance Hill had 13, Cole Acton had 5, Gabe Thomas had 3, and Jacob Reeves scored 2 points. The Brashear girls played the first round tournament game with Marion County. Both teams defended fiercely in the early going, with Brashear leading 2-0 after 1 quarter. The Lady Tigers managed to extend the lead to 13-4 by halftime. Brashear was solidly in control in the second half, pulling away for a 45-26 win. Abby Kirby and Skylar Hausman scored 10 points for Brashear. Allison Thompson had 9. Mandy Taylor had 7, Abby Hall had 5, Kately Hall had 3, and Sadie Potter scored 1 point. Atlanta was the second-round opponent for the Brashear boys. Both teams came in with only 5 players. Atlanta took the first quarter lead 13-9 and were up 30-20 at halftime. Atlanta pulled away for a 77-43 win as Brashear finished the game with only 3 players due to foul problems. Jacob Reeves scored 14 points for Brashear, Chance Hill added 12, Cole Acton had 9, Gabe Thomas had 5, and Patrick Jacobson scored 3 points. The Brashear tournament second-round opponent for the Brashear girls was Scotland County. Brashear fell behind with state-ranked Scotland County team in the early going and trailed 34-8 at halftime. Scotland County continued to dominate in the second half as they rolled to a 61-14 win. Abby Kirby scored 5 points for Brashear, Mandy Taylor had 4, Sydney Sykes and Abby Hall had 2 each, and Sadie Potter scored 1 point.